you might be able to win one stage of growth alone. A true high performer saddles up alongside and around others to take on growth that comes with climbing the entire mountain. Welcome to the Growth Ready Coaching Corner, an opportunity to slow down for you to intentionally listen in and reflect on either an individual or a collective level of how you can make this particular insight part of your growth journey. Let's jump right into it. There's a moment in the Tour de France that most people tend to miss. It's not the sprint finish. It's not the podium. It's certainly not the yellow jersey. It's somewhere in the middle of the brutal mountain stages where the camera pulls back just enough so that you can start to see really what's going on. One rider, they look like they're leading, but when you look closer, he's actually not alone. There are 3, maybe 4 teammates around him. One in the front, piercing through the wind. One just behind, who's ready to sweep in and take over. Another dropping back to grab food, grab water, whatever the team needs from them. And then one by one, as the hills get steeper and steeper, longer and longer, members of the team start to fall off. They give everything they have, not to win, but just to make sure one guy wins. And when that individual crosses the finish line, they might get to wear the yellow jersey, but the truth is that most people don't see, he didn't get there alone. And yet, there's something I notice in high performers, and they do it so well. They do life alone. Too often I hear the stories of those choosing to carry pressure in isolation, choosing to eliminate people in order to stay productive, choosing to say no to a social life in order to simply keep their work going, and choosing to find a way, no matter the cost that may come to the relationships around them. And for a while, in certain seasons, that might work, and it might even be necessary. But when those seasons start to blend together, and there are no longer seasons at all, the pursuit of high performance becomes an isolated affair. History shows that for these types of high performers, the very attributes and traits that help them get to that point and succeed, well, those very same traits are now getting in the way of growth. My work with leadership teams tends to actually start in a very similar situation. I sit down and I meet with folks, and I learn quite quickly I have a set of individuals who have proven time and time again that they have the ability to remain accountable to the task at hand, but only for the work that they own and for the outcomes that they individually produce. After all, who doesn't want to prove that they can be left alone and get the task done? But is executing a task to completion how you would define and rate high performance? Furthermore, is the ability to not rely on others really the strength that we believe it is? It's time we stop making self-sufficiency count as high performance. And it might be time to recognize the benefits of high performance being pursued with or around others. Because growth is not just about capacity and endurance. It's about exposure too. Exposure to new people, new feedback, new discomfort, new reflections. And that's why I want to talk about something a lot of high performers don't naturally go looking for. Community. And if you're feeling especially brave, a community with strangers. Back in February of this year, I made the bold decision to travel to Roatan, Honduras, to join a community of entrepreneurs that intimidated the life out of me. I knew going into that on paper, I would easily be the least successful business person there. I would have the least impressive network and more than likely feel the most uneducated person there as well. If I looked at myself and my business in isolation, I would never have seen a reason to attend. But I didn't want to look at myself or the business in isolation anymore. In fact, I wanted to expose it and myself to others. For most self-defined high performers, this might sound risky, borderline reckless. An opportunity to leave yourself and your business looking small, insignificant, and certainly unsuccessful. But when you walk into a room filled with, in this case, strangers, you lose the advantage of being known. Nobody cares about your resume. Nobody cares about your issues, your titles, your track record. It's just you. And you suddenly feel confronted. The people that are closest to you, they already know your story. They know your patterns. They know your strengths. And yes, they're pretty used to your excuses as well. And sometimes without meaning to, these people who love you most keep relating to an older version of you. And if I know growth to be anything, I know that it is a journey of who you are becoming. And while a mirror can help you see who you are, it can't provide the type of feedback of who you're capable of becoming. And that's where community comes in, because of the way it allows us to practice who it is we are becoming. That's right, community is a practice. If you're striving to be a high performer, where do you currently go in order to practice? Because this is what professional cycling has helped us understand and has figured out a long time ago. Inside the most successful teams that compete in things like the Tour de France, riders have to unlearn something that made them successful in the first place. Most of them grew up winning on their own. They were the strongest, the fastest, the one that everybody else was chasing. And that was probably the reason they were recruited to the team in the first place. They have an identity that's built in that individual success that they are. And then they reach this highest level and they're asked to become something else. A teammate, a support system, a standard setter for someone else's success. They have to trust that their effort, even if it doesn't get recognized, is still so essential. They have to believe that someone else winning is still them winning. That's not natural. That's something you have to practice. Because here's what the Tour de France as a competition will teach us, if we're paying attention. No one's winning those mountain stages alone. Sure, folks cross the finish line first, and it is their name that's on the leaderboard. But they don't climb alone. Those climbs, they're long, they're relentless. They expose everything about an individual. Their fitness, their preparation, their mindset, but more than anything, it exposes whether or not that individual is being supported throughout the climb. So, high performers, maybe we need to stop asking how much of this climb can I personally endure and handle on my own. Maybe it's time for us to ask a better question. Where on my climb do I need to stop riding alone? Because high performance isn't just about how high you climb. It's about whether you've built a way to keep climbing. Because the best in the world understand that while you might be able to win one stage of growth alone, a true high performer saddles up alongside and around others to take on growth that comes with climbing the entire mountain. I appreciate you guys tuning in for this Coach's Corner of Growth Ready. I love these opportunities just to provide insight, to provide concepts that force you to think, hopefully make you stop in your tracks wherever you are on your journey and simply reflect. Simply think internally for a moment, is there a way that I can approach my journey ever so slightly different? And I hope I was able to do that. And I'd love to hear if I was able to do that with you on this particular episode. Until next time, make sure you're going back and listening to previous episodes. If you're not a subscriber yet, make sure you do that before you leave. And of course, as always, we really appreciate you taking the time to leave us a 5-star review, give us a thumbs up on YouTube, or to go ahead one step further and share the episode with someone in your network. Now you know. You're only going to take up 10 minutes of their time with this particular episode. And I don't think this would be a bad 10 minutes spent. So go ahead, share the episode, share the wealth of knowledge that you've now been able to take advantage of. And I look forward to doing this again with you all really soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to Growth Ready. If you liked what you heard and are feeling ready to grow, be sure to leave a 5-star rating, subscribe to the show, and share the episode with someone you know is ready to fuel their growth journey today. We love our community, so don't hesitate to reach out to us at podcast@growthready.com. And until next time, we are Growth Ready, and you will be too.